After World War II, many Americans returned home and with the use of the GI Bill were able to gain an education and find their ways into a high income job, allowing them to get a single family house and a automobile. This came to define the American middle class and widely known as the American Dream. The American Dream, brought to life by the invention of the suburb, has become a nightmare, defined by bad traffic, generic homes, permanent ecological scarring, as well as increased traffic congestion and increased energy usage. Everyone knows someone who has lived in a suburb or lives in a suburb. I myself have lived the suburb lifestyle before and it is arguably pleasant. This is a common sentiment among the common man. Today I'm going to inform you about the consequences of rampant urban sprawl, the causes, and how action can be taken to prevent it. The concept of urban sprawl has a relatively recent. Urban sprawl, as defined by Britannica, is the rapid expansion of single-family zoned areas for residents outside of city centers and on the borders. Acts such as the Interstate Highway Act of 1956 facilitated this in America, as many roads were built that allowed people to live outside of the city center in which they worked. This is good. Suburbs are good. Urban sprawl is not. Urban sprawl is when suburbs are taken too far and when it is an extreme. This is not exclusive to America. Cyril Biederman expands on the reasons behind urban sprawl in Latin America, mainly being that it is the easy way to house an expanding population. This is a very common concept among city planners, as building high-density areas with expansive infrastructure is extremely time-consuming and extremely expensive. This is relatively unfeasible without some type of projection of growth, which has become increasingly difficult to assess, especially in urban areas in recent years. Housing is cheaper and easier to build quickly in suburban areas, although when brought to the extreme, such as urban sprawl, has many, many negative effects and decreases the life quality of those who live within. Urban sprawl is widely rampant in Florida and in the American Southeast in general. This is because of the large amount of undeveloped land and flat area without any type of barrier to build. This allows them to host their rapidly expanding populations and is a relative benefit to the economy. These are the exact reasons why urban sprawl is not being combated at a state level or a federal level in any type of meaningful way as of now. Urban sprawl is by far the most common solution to population growth, yet it is only viable when there is land left to develop. Some realize this, some don't. Communities are beginning to attempt to combat urban sprawl, and I say attempt as they have not been majorly successful. One of these communities is our very own Pasco County here in Florida, which experiences a lot of urban sprawl and has many of the cookie cutter homes that you may see very similar designs of or very few templates of houses. They have tried to combat companies such as Lennar who build these houses by passing legislature that would increase community distinctiveness and force them to use more templates. Unfortunately, this has been inadvertently blocked by a bill passed in the state legislature attempting to combat the agency of Disney's Woody Creek District. This has prevented them from passing regulations that would allow them to affect building codes and require these communities to increase their community distinctiveness. Urban sprawl is a consequence of overexpansion, and the solution to it is planned expansion. By building these high-density urban areas with much infrastructure, it will allow the same number of people to live in a smaller area with better support for themselves. Urban sprawl may not seem an issue, as there is still plenty of land to develop and plenty of areas to pave over. This is not the case. There's a lot of ecological damage by doing this, as environments meant for animals have now become environments for roads and highways and houses. We live in a finite world with finite land and finite resources. Time is running out. Urban sprawl must be stopped.